There won't be any repetitions, but if you feel at any point in time that there is something which has already been covered, I've tried that I do not repeat anything, but if you feel at any time, kindly do point it out and I'll move on. My Lords and Your Ladyship, my first submission is with respect to what is envisaged under clause 6 of Article 51 as also
Voice is not loud enough. ये चल रहा है आपका माइक? जरा आवाज आपकी बड़ी.
आवाज otherwise तो ठीक है बस. Is it better now? Better. ठीक. My Lords, and Your Ladyship, if you may kindly turn to the text of clause 6 of Article 51. Also, paragraph D and E, it has been read and reread. If you like, I can read it again, but if you don't, I can just proceed with my submission.
Please proceed, unless you want to stress something.
I'll just point out that under these two clauses, paragraphs, the purpose or the text, they both indicate or point towards one objective, which is creating reserved seats for women and non-Muslims with the goal or with the constitutional goal being the empowerment of women and their participation in the national politics, consequently in both legislation and in some instances in the governance also, when they make it to the cabinet. The vehicle or the tool to accomplish this constitutional goal or purpose is a political party or political parties. And the system through which this goal is to be accomplished is proportional representation system of political parties list. So whether we look at the text of these paragraphs or follow purposive approach, they both produce one result. And the reason I make this submission is that it is for the first time in 2002 that women have been given or were given representation in both the national assemblies and the provincial assemblies, as also in the Senate, in such large number. The Constituent Assembly, for the purpose of this constitution, which was a result of the elections which took place, and ultimately the assembly, the members which were representing the West Pakistan in the National Assembly constituted the Constituent Assembly for the purposes of making of this constitution. There were 6 women members in that assembly, and that representation varied between 6 to 20 over successive national assemblies. And the practice then discontinued from the 9th National Assembly onward, which is 1990, then 1993, and then 1997. And in 2002, 60 seats.
What happened in 9th Assembly?
So, there were no women's seats, no reserved seats for women. In 1990s Assembly and also 1993 and 1997, the 9th, 10th and 11th National Assembly.
What about non-Muslims?
Non-Muslims were there consistently, barring the 1970 and 77 where the reserved seats for non-Muslims were 6. Subsequently, in all national assemblies, the reserved seats for non-Muslims have been 10. The distinction from 2002, the period starting from 2002 onwards, is that now the elections to the members of the seats reserved for non-Muslims is by way of direct vote by the non-Muslims to the general seats, and then the non-Muslim seats being elected on the basis of the general seats secured by or won by each political party.
In 2002 is the 10th Amendment.
This is the 2002 Assembly is the 12th National Assembly, and it's the 17th Amendment which validated what had happened prior to the 2002 Assembly, and brought in Article 51 in its present form. Paragraph 6 went through one amendment, the 18th Amendment, where previously a political party securing less than 5% seats in the National Assembly was disentitled by way of a proviso. So that proviso was done away with the 18th Amendment. My lord, the number is 60, and there is a clear intent behind it, which indicates that after the 18th Amendment, 17th Amendment, a larger representation was sought, and what was commanded has been commanded by the Parliament. So my respectful submission is that whether you look at the purpose or the text of this clause, the purpose is only one, which is ensuring representation of women in large numbers, in this number, in the Parliament, and the non-Muslims being given this role, greater role in national electoral politics by way of giving them right to vote for general seats, and then their members, the non-Muslims, getting elected indirectly on the basis of general seats secured by political parties whom non-Muslims all over the country for various different National Assembly seats vote for. The tool being the political party, the vehicle, the engine being the political party. And thirdly, the system. And now here I will take you through the electoral systems in place and then bring you to the system which we call now the proportional representation system of political parties list. I believe CMA 5911 is before your lordships and your ladyship. This is the written synopsis of my submissions. 5911. If
You will be reading from it.
by page 8, if you may kindly turn to page 8. I'll just quickly walk you through various systems in place, but Roman numeral 1, 2, and 3 and 3's B and C are relevant for the purposes of this, and these are the systems which are relevant for our purpose, and hence I have tried to briefly, succinctly try to explain them. The first being the first past the post method, which is also called single non-transferable vote. This is the method which is used to elect members on the general seats. Basically the plurality system, whoever gets more votes, regardless of whether they have exceeded 50% or not, gets elected. The second being the single transferable vote, which is also called proportional rank choice voting. Now this is a method which is used to elect the Senate in Pakistan under clause 2 of Article 59. And single transferable vote basically means that a candidate or a voter votes for multiple candidates, and if in the process amongst his options, whoever either gets elected by securing more votes or gets eliminated by securing less votes, his vote gets transferred to the next and is ultimately applied to one or either candidates, whoever he votes for. But this is for the Senate. Now the third, which is relevant for the purposes of this discussion, this is proportional representation system political parties list. I'll call it PRPL. Now under this system, there are two ways to elect members under PRPL. One is by way of popular vote, which we don't apply here, but in some of the other jurisdictions this system is applied, and in simpler terms the way this system on the basis of popular vote works is that the political parties present their candidates, offer their candidates by way of a list. So it is also always based on party list basis, and based on the popular vote, the percentage of popular votes secured by a political party, the percentage of votes secured would apply to the list, and let's say if a party has secured 51%, then 51% of the members on that list will get elected. So this is PRPL on the basis of popular vote. At page 8, towards the bottom, under Roman numeral 3, this is in inverted commas. This is an excerpt from Reeve and Ware, aggregating votes through rival systems in electoral systems, a comparative and theoretical introduction. I'll just quickly read out. Page 8 at the bottom. This is a class of system whose special feature is the role of parties in presenting list of candidates to the voters. The effect of these parties list is to rank the candidates party's order of preference among the candidates so that an individual voter in casting a vote for that party will simply be allocating his or her vote to whoever is next on the party list.